guys, how you doing? Welcome back to my channel, Ad Maiora. It's Sarah here, you know that. And today I'd like to share with you something that I hope is funny and interesting at the same time. And there is a huge dose of self-irony here. Yes, because, well, those of you who have followed my channel for a long time will maybe remember that in the first period, let's say the first year more or less, I used to repeat the word okay a lot in my videos. Okay. And many of you mocked me, or they joked, or they laughed at me, or they wrote or asked me why I use that word so much. And I don't know why. I guess I wasn't used to talking to a camera and was unconsciously looking for feedback. Okay, I was used to having real people in front of me, and so I was kind of asking for a feedback, and so I dropped an okay every couple of sentences to unconsciously looking for that feedback. Now it's quite funny and it's over. I don't do that anymore, but I think that self-irony is a great thing in life, and so this is why I'm making a whole video concerning the word okay, which is definitely one of the most popular Americanisms in a lot of different languages, actually, often used maybe with the different pronunciations, but the meaning is always the same. And it's quite interesting to consider the origins of this expression. There are many different tales concerning the origin of okay, but the roots are quite obscure. There are many different colorful stories, tales, legends, and sometimes there is some truth in them, sometimes there is not, but actually there is only one story that is today accepted and considered totally true, okay, by experts. Now, let's start talking about the first tale that concerns the origins of the word, of the expression okay. Now, some people, experts, say that probably it could come from other languages, like for example the Asian French. The word has a completely different spelling, but the pronunciation, because it's a French spelling of course, but the pronunciation is pretty much the same. It's okay, and it should mean the same thing, so alright, basically. Today we know that okay, even when it is spelled okay in French, is pronounced okay. So that is definitely similar somehow. Some people say that it could come from Scottish and from the expression oh I. Now we know that I is a very common, very used expression today as well, okay, even if it is old and somehow old-fashioned, but it is still used in the north of Great Britain, in Ireland. It means yes, basically, but in this case oh I should mean alright, and so okay. Some others say that it could come from the Greek expression alla, same meaning, or from an American Indian language, which is Choctaw. The word should be okay. Also in this case it's obviously a transcription, because we know that American Indian languages are basically oral languages. And again, some other people think it could come from the Louisiana French, from the expression okay. Also in this case, different spelling, same pronunciation, same meaning. But most of them are considered now coincidences. Okay, so well, okay, they are similar, but they're not the origin of the word. then there's another theory that probably this word, okay, could come from, we can say, a professional jargon that became popular and finally became part, we can say, of the popular culture. And especially it was an expression used, anyway, yes, some initials used by shipbuilders, because they chose some pieces of lumber that were particularly strong, and they marked them with an O and a K, and that had a specific meaning that was outer keel. Outer keel, because that was the part of the ship that required the strongest lumber. Now, that was true, they did that, and of course, in that specific field, those initial O and K meant, all right, this pieces of lumber wood are good, and so you can go on. So somehow the meaning was the same, but there is some truth there, but that's not the true origin of the word. Another tale, a legend we can say, because it's so common. I'll tell you the truth that I did believe that was the true story. I did, and I was kind of disappointed because, let's see. Now, many people think or thought that this expression came from the Civil War, and from reports during the Civil War, of course, reports of knights' death tolls. So how many people, how many soldiers died or didn't die during a specific battle or a specific period of time or during the night. And on these reports, or even on flags, okay, on the field, when nobody died, they could write 0 killed. So nobody was killed, okay, had been killed. 0 killed, obviously 0 is O, we know that we still use that as a number in American, O as 0, and K is obviously the first letter of killed, so OK, 0 killed. And that was obviously great news, okay, no one was dead. And so it could have a wider meaning, which was it's all right, everything is all right. And some people think that those reports didn't actually belong to the Civil War, but to the First World War. Truth is that there is no evidence that it actually happened, and there is no evidence at all that the origin of the word, of the expression, okay, should be, can be found there. So this is a story. It's sad to say so, because it's, I know, it was colorful and, well, kind of fascinating, but wrong. There are other theories concerning the military life in general, like, for example, the idea that this expression could come from all correct. All correct was an expression that was used when troops were in, we can say, in good order. They were ready to fight, and so everything was all right, was okay. So OK, again, the 2 initials. Also in this case, colorful, possible, maybe, but not really proved. There are other stories. One is that probably the President Andrew Jackson tended to write on his papers these 2 letters, O and K, meaning all correct, okay, when everything was all right. Okay, this is also another story, but this is not the truth again. I've got this book here which will reveal the truth. So what basically today professors consider as the real and one truth concerning the expression okay. And this book is the QPB Encyclopedia of Word and Phrase Origins, written by Robert Henriksen. And what he said is that the expression okay was actually the nickname of an American president. I'm talking about Martin Van Buren. Martin Van Buren was elected president in 1936, and he was also one of the founders of the Democratic Party. His story is very peculiar, very singular, because he started, he was basically a pot boy in a tavern, and then he ended up being the president of the United States. And even then he had a very colorful character. As vice president, at least this is what they say, he used to preside over the Senate with dueling pistols on his deck, which speaks volumes of his character. It was very, very colorful and particular. Anyway, he became an eponym, so it means that his name or his person was the origin of another name or another word. That's the meaning of the word eponym. It happened during the campaign of 1840 against General William Henry Harrison, that was considered a hero because of his activity during the Indian Wars, basically. Harrison won the campaign and he became president, but that campaign was considered one of the first modern political campaigns, using new techniques, new ways of talking, of somehow interacting with the people. And in fact, an example was an initiative that was keep the ball rolling for Harrison. That was the slogan. So basically there was this 10-foot victory ball, many of them actually, and they were rolled basically from city to city, and it happened for 300 miles more or less, and there was the name of Harrison printed on the bowl. So it was a way basically to involve people and to create a sort of a feeling of we can say of being united, of supporting the candidate, and so on and so on. As I said before, the language changed a bit too, and became more similar to what we consider normal today during political campaigns. So campaigns that are somehow more aggressive, and there are often nicknames, derogative nicknames that are given to other candidates. Van Buren became many nicknames, derogative nicknames too, which actually were meant to identify him with aristocracy, like for example King Martin I, Martin was his name of course, or Little Magician, the Enchanter, many others. But there was a very common one that was used by his supporters too. And that was connected to his birthplace, that was Kinderhook in New York. In fact, he was called Old Kinderhook. Old Kinderhook, so okay. Now, it sounded better for some reasons than, I don't know, other nicknames, like for example, the Magician or the sage, the wizard of Kinderhook. There were many nicknames concerning magic and sorcery and this kind of stuff, but his supporters found old Kinderhook more appropriate for some reason. And these initials started being a sort of a rolling cry for the Democrats, basically. They were called the OK Club. And I read the word that describe what happened there. They, the Democrats, of course, passed the word OK from mouth to mouth. A cheer was given and they rushed into the hall like a torrent. So it was like a sort of I don't know, a word they used to feel stronger, to feel united, to feel that they belonged to that party, and it gave them sort of a team spirit. And very soon this expression started to mean all right, all correct in general. Okay, it's fine. And so this is why this expression, these initials, became so widespread. It wasn't all right because, as I said before, Van Buren was defeated by Harrison. Well, he wasn't very lucky either, because Harrison actually died of pneumonia, contracted on his inauguration day. So we can say that these elections weren't especially lucky for either of them. But anyway, that expression "okay" survived and went on and on and on. And the Columbia professor Ellen Walker Reed in 1941, specifically in an article on Saturday Review, the article was written on the 19th of July, 1941, he stated basically that this story, this nickname, could be considered the true origin of the expression "okay." And we can say that most etymologists agreed, and even now they do. And so basically we can say that what Professor Reed maintained hasn't been changed or shaken or somehow I don't know, thought by anyone else. On the contrary, other professors, like for example H.L. Mencken, calls the expression "okay" the most shining and successful Americanism ever invented. And that's true if you think about it, because it's so international. As I said before, we can find maybe slightly different pronunciations, but it's used almost everywhere with the same meaning. They even tried, and that's quite funny, they even tried to give it an antonym, so something that meant the opposite, the contrary. And they tried with the word "no-K," which is awful. Well, anyway, it was a failure, as it often happens when you try to create a word, because it is manufactured, it's not spontaneous, and most of the times it doesn't work. In fact, it didn't, but we find somehow, somewhere, another expression. But yeah, it's just, I'm saying just out of curiosity, but nothing more than that. And the word is A-OK. Okay, so A-OK. A is a vowel we often use, and it's from the ancient Greek. Okay, we used to change the meaning of an adjective. For example, when we put the A in front of it, it often means that we mean the contrary. And so this would be the intention. A-OK should be no-K, so that everything is not all right. But of course, it's not used a lot. We find very different ways, as I said, to pronounce, to use the original okay. One of them is very well-known okie doke, okay, that is used a lot in many parts of the US mostly. And nowadays there is a sort of a shortened form which is just K, okay, just the letter K, the consonant K. Obviously today we see that so many words are shortened in texts, maybe, or while writing on social media or stuff, and so OK is obviously a perfect candidate, and so the spelling K is used a lot, and etymologists think that that will be soon the only possible spelling, or the most used spelling for OK, so the O will not exist anymore. Still, the origin was there, okay, it was in old Kinderhook. Did you know that? I didn't, okay, I didn't. I don't know if I actually wanted to know, because I preferred some of the other stories, but that's the truth. Well, it's over for today, okay, and thank you for supporting my channel, okay. See you very soon, okay, again with other videos, other playlists on my channel Ad Maiora, okay. Thank you so much and see you soon.